You know, friends, it's everything which is real is always a contradiction. Anything which is not a contradiction is not real. Imagine if you love a girl and you have no reason for not marrying her, don't marry her. Because it can't be real. There has to be a little bit yes, a little bit no, right? Take serving God, right? The highest thing in the world. If it be only yes, it'll be an idol. Has to be yes, a little bit no. Everything yes and no. Both. The holiness means to have strong stomach, strong kishkis to bear all the contradictions. One of the deepest contradictions is, on one hand, I'd like to be the highest, right? I just want to be so high. I want to be the holiest in the world. Which is very, very beautiful. On the other hand, there was something which tells me, why do you have to be the highest? Who cares if you're the lowest? The most important thing is you should do exactly what God wants you to do. Tell you something very deep. Some people always say, I got to marry the most beautiful girl in the world. But this isn't where it's at, right? The most important thing is you should marry your soulmate. But again, can't I really ask God, do me a favor, can't my soulmate be beautiful also? You know what I mean? See, the hardest thing in the world is, on one hand, I have to be so completely filled with longing for the highest. On the other hand, I have to be ready not to be the highest. I have to tell you something which has nothing to do with it directly, but indirectly. Just remember the story. The Heilige Stropke would tell the Tzedem, let me tell you the secret of life. And he says, everybody knows the Rebbe Rab Zusha, the Heilige Rebbe Rab Zusha, had so much trouble in his life. Everything went wrong. God forbid. And yet, he was always happy. Gewalt. Rab Zusha, the Rebbe Rab Zusha. Flying high. In the same city was a Mismagetel, a little anti, and everything was going his way. He was always sad, always complaining, krachzing. He always finds something wrong in everything. One time he met Rab Zusha and he says, tell me, I don't understand it. With me, thank God, everything is more or less okay, and I'm always sad. And with you, everything is wrong, you're always happy. This is, I'll tell you, why go far back? Let's go back just to yesterday. Yesterday was the wedding of the richest Yidele in town. I don't know what his name was, let's say, Pinchas. Okay, in those days, you don't send invitations by mail. So the rich man sits down and he makes a list of the people whom he should invite. And then he sends a bodyguard to knock on the people's door, Fremele, Moshe, Lachal, and invites them. Okay, so he says, he knocks on your door and he says, the rich man, Rab Pinchas, invites you to his daughter's wedding. So you say, show me the list. So you look at the list, you're number 17 on the list. What a chutzpah. I'm the greatest scholar in the world, the only real Jew in this town. I'm number 17. This is outrageous. His first thought should be me. So you're invited, but you already heard, right? Okay, the wedding is supposed to take place next week, 4 o'clock. But you're a great scholar, you don't come on time. I hate to say bad things. So anyway, so you come there 6 o'clock. So you come 6. But by 6 o'clock, every chair is taken. So you come in there, and the head table is absolutely filled. So finally you sit down at the lowest table, you're sitting there and you're angry, chutzpah, you know. Here, I'm the great scholar in town and I have to sit at the table, how comes it? So you're just eating your kishkesat. Finally the rich man notices you and he says, "Ay, vey, the great scholar, how come you're sitting there? You better come to the head table." But you don't have place at the head table anymore. So there is actually no place at the head table, so pull up a chair. Now listen to this. It comes to giving out the food. And you sit there and you think, those waiters, they know I'm the greatest scholar in town. And they better bring me the best portion. But remember, the poor waiters don't notice your chair, which is pulled up behind, you know. Never. You're sitting there and you see everybody eating like a dog. And you have no plate. You know, finally the rich man, he says, what's going on there? You don't even have a plate. He says, waiter, please. He says, we're out of soup and chicken. We may have some little cake left. Okay. You're eating your heart out. What's going on there? Finally it comes to benching, giving out the blessings, the brachas. And you're sitting there stiff and you think, better have the first bracha, you know. Better have the first bracha. Because I'm the greatest scholar in the world. So they're calling out the first bracha and you shiver. Somebody else. You know, mamish, you can't stand it anymore. You think, but listen, the second, don't do this to me, gotta be the second. The second bracha, somebody else. Your mamish killing over, you don't have strength anymore. But can you imagine all the 7 blessings and you didn't even have one? You come home, you're heartbroken, you're sad. Thank you a million times. You're sad and you just had the most miserable evening of your whole life. That's you. Just but take Zusha. Zusha would never say I, said Zusha. Take Zusha. Zusha never expected to be invited in the first place. Because why should Zusha be invited? Who is Zusha? Zusha is nothing. Suddenly the rich man's bodyguard knocks on the door and he says, in the name of the rich man, I invite you. Zusha's flying high. Can you imagine what an honor to be invited at the rich man's wedding? But Zusha knows, Zusha is a poor schlepper. I better be there on time, otherwise I'll never have a seat. So the wedding starts 4, Zusha is there at 2 o'clock. Zusha is the first one at the wedding. The rich man calls him up and says, listen, don't sit last row, sit here at the head table. Zusha is sitting at the head table, sure, and get all the attention. When it comes to giving out the fistule, I get the best portion because the waiters see me. When it comes to the brachas, Zusha knows I don't deserve to give a blessing, because why should Zusha give a blessing? So I assume everybody else. But then suddenly, the rich man notices me and he says, Rab Zusha, say the 4th blessing. I'm jumping out of my skin. What an honor. I'm coming home. Then I had the most beautiful evening in my life. And the Stropka would tell the story again and again. And I'm begging you also, tell it to each other. Because such a deep story. He says, you see, you always expect everything and you're disappointed. Zusha expects nothing and is always happy. But again, let's turn to spiritual matters. When it comes to the spiritual world, you cannot say, I don't expect anything. You better expect something. You better. Because otherwise you're dead. In the spiritual world, you must expect of yourself the highest. And yet be ready to be the lowest. Every morning when I begin to daven, I want to daven like in Yom Kippur, right? Turns out my heart is broken, my mind is blank. I never davened so bad. Can I stop? No. I got to go through the whole davening. I have to expect the best and not run away if it's the worst. Right? Now listen to this. Listen to this, sweetest friends. But again, I want you to know something very, very deep. You know, imagine if I love somebody very much, I'd like to buy them a house in Bermuda. But then this person who I love says to me, do me a favor. go to a store and get me some orange juice, say. You know something? If I love this person really so much, as much as I would be happy to buy her a house of Bermuda, with the same joy I bring a little juice. Or let's say, as much as I would like to buy my wife a house of Bermuda, and she says to me, do me a favor, can you clean out the garbage? You know? Same thing. Maybe even more so. Because you know something? I can walk up to a strange woman and buy her house in Bermuda, be nothing wrong. But cleaning out the garbage, gotta be close friends, right? Very close. You know, I can call up Baron Rothschild and ask him for a loan of $1 million, but I cannot call him from a gas station and says, brother, I'm short $1.25. Would you like? Something else very, very important, friends, utmost importance. Also very deep. How do you feel when you see somebody else being very high? Imagine, let's assume I love somebody very much and I and another person are standing there. So this person whom I love says to one person, buy me a house in Bermuda, and to me she says, clean out my garbage. It hurts, right? But the question is, how much is your ego involved, right? If all you care is about this person, what does it really matter who buys the house? The most important thing that she should have a house in Bermuda, right? Or even deeper, you know. Generally, how do you feel when you see somebody who is high? Are you happy at least there is somebody in the world who is high? Or are you just jealous, saying, how come I'm not high? So the thing is, the secret of the portion of this week is this: the deepest depths there is. And I want you to know, Label Eger says that this Shabbos is the fourth Shabbos of the Shavuos. And everybody knows after 30 days, this is like the final nail, right? Thank you. The final nail. That means right now the revelation Mount Sinai is finalized. What's the final nail? The final nail is two things. When you see somebody else who's high, why aren't you happy? At least somebody else is high. And the second thing is, even if you want to be the highest, be happy with anything in the world. Now let me enlighten you. Maybe some of you do, some of you don't. So if you do know, bear with me for those who don't. The portion we read this week is a crazy story. You know, there were Levites in the Holy Temple and the priests. And the priests had a high priest. Suddenly Korach made a revolution. He says, I want to be the high priest. I want to be the high priest. And I want you to know the truth is, the Medrash says that he was supposed to become the high Levi, the high Levi. That means, he really was meant for something great. And he knew it inside, but he didn't know the limits. So he thought that he should become the high priest. And he was so jealous that Aaron, now listen to this. You know, the Levim were singing. And he was mamish blowing his mind. It was so beautiful to sing in the Holy Temple. But then he thought, the priests, I'm sure even higher. Then he thought, the high priest, wow, what he must be feeling when he walks into the Holy of Holiest. Why shouldn't I feel it also? So on one hand, it's very high, right? Very holy. But it isn't. And you know, Rabbi Leibel Eger makes it very clear that this kind of teaching can only come from a very holy person. Because an unholy person doesn't even have the yearning to be the high priest. You know, imagine that be a voice from heaven. Anybody wants to be as holy as the Baal Shem? Who would raise his hand? I said, no, it's not for me. But he really wanted to be. He absolutely was ready to be the Holy of Holiest. And obviously, if the Torah tells a story, he had it within him. He had it within him to be the Holy of Holiest. But the story is, right now, this is not where you have to be. You have to be just the holiest, not the Holy of Holiest. This is your place. And you know what else? How come you're not happy? At least there's somebody else who's experiencing such a high thing to serve God. Listen to this. There's two kinds of jealousy. Imagine, God forbid it should never happen, imagine somebody is not so close to his wife. He walks on Broadway and then he sees a husband and wife and they love each other so much. There's two ways of being jealous. The low kind of jealousy says, how come I'm not that close to my wife? And who are they to be close? You think they deserve it? I know them. I know them before the wedding. I know them after. They just pretend, knock them off. Listen, because if I'm not close, who's he to be close? She's a bitch, and he, I don't want to say what he is. They are close. It's a joke, right? I want to be close. So first it tears down them because they're so jealous. There's another kind of jealousy. Imagine someone's not so close to his wife. He walks down Broadway and he sees a husband and wife walking down. So much love. So the first reaction is, I'm so glad there was somebody in the world who still love each other. It's so good to see that. But then he says, God in heaven, let me be also close to my wife. Please, give me the same gift. When I see somebody who is a great scholar, the first reaction should be, I'm so glad there was someone in the world who's still learning. And then I should say, please God, let me learn also. The story is Carlebach, when he saw Aaron so high, his first reaction is, him? I know him. And I want you to know the deepest depths. If some of you friends remember. Korach was from the tribe of Levi. They did not take part in the golden calf. If you know, Aaron not only took part, Aaron made the golden calf. So Korach walking around saying, what a fake. You mean to say he's going to the Holy of Holies and he's feeling high? I know this guy. Says I'm his cousin. I know the whole family there, Ever seen those people? Listen to this one. Listen, friends, just one more sweet thing. Listen to this, it's so deep. Who is really the one who is serving God with all his heart, with all his soul? You know who this is? The person who knows that whatever I have is not because I deserve it. See, if Carlebach for 1 second would have thought, even to be a Levi, even to sing in the Holy Temple, I don't deserve it. Like Rabzusha, don't expect it. I don't deserve it. I'm singing the Holy Temple. Thank you, God. You know why Aaron was the high priest? Because Aaron was the one person who knew that he doesn't even deserve to be in the Holy Temple at all. I don't know if you remember this. When it came to build... Sorry. Yeah. Not your mom, man, anyway. Listen to this. When it came to build the Holy Temple, there were two people who did not contribute. Do you know that? Moshe and Aaron. Moshe Rabbeinu did not think he deserves to be part of building the Holy Temple. Can you imagine? Moshe Rabbeinu, who spoke to God on Mount Sinai, who got the Jews out of Egypt, the Holy of Holies, the deepest of the depths. He thought everybody else is better. The second one who did not contribute was Aaron. He says, I made a golden calf. Again, do you know why he made the golden calf? Because he saw they are making it. He said, let me make it fast. Let me be the sinner instead of them. You see, Aaron, Moshe's holiness. Okay, let's get about it. Anyway. Moshe and Aaron, the two holy of holies, who know that. Let me put it this way. Imagine I'm walking into a synagogue and I'm learning. Next to me, somebody is learning 50 pages a minute. I'm learning just one page. I wish I could learn 50 pages a minute. But do I deserve even to sit by a Gemara? Do I deserve even to know that there is a God? What a gift. Every letter I'm learning is so holy, shining before me. So deep and so holy. You know what it is? Maybe the one page is deeper than the other 50 pages. I don't know. He says this portion of this week is, when you'll really know your place in serving God, as much as you're supposed to want to be the highest, and even the holiness of just wanting to be a garbage collector for God, who cares, as long as you do something. But the deepest depths to know is, I don't deserve anything. It's just a privilege. Such a privilege. So deep. I want you to know something very deep. A person who thinks I deserve to serve God, when he meets somebody who doesn't serve God, he says, chutzpah, who is he? But the person who's serving God with all his heart, but on the level he knows it's just a gift from God. When he meets somebody who's not serving God so much, he thinks, God, you gave me a gift of serving you, or why didn't you give the gift to another person also? I want you to know the most way out medrash in the world. It's unbelievable. When our father Abraham was pleading for Sodom, the most wicked city in the world, you know what he said to God? He said like this, Rabbeinu Shalom, do I deserve to serve you? But you gave it to me as a gift. So why didn't you give it a gift also to the people of Sodom? Can you imagine? Father Abraham, so holy. You know what it means to walk on the earth? To walk on the earth means I'm just a vessel, but I need heaven all the time. But friends, if I think I don't need heaven, I want to serve heaven, but then it's not the gift coming down like the rain, then the earth can't stand me. Because the earth knows one thing. I want to grow madly, but I cannot grow without the rain. Friends, what happened to Korach? If you remember the story, the earth swallowed him up. The earth says, listen, brother Korach, don't walk on me. Don't walk on me. Because I, earth, know every drop of rain is a gift. If you think you can grow without rain, don't walk on me. Don't walk on me. I tell you something, you know how come one tree has apples, one tree doesn't have apples? It's very simple. The tree who knows that every drop of rain is a gift has beautiful apples. The tree who says to the rain, okay, let's go, I'm waiting here for you, okay, let's go, brother, what's going on here? Doesn't help. Now you grow, so you have more wood. No apples. No apples. No life. Listen to this, friends. Rabbeinu Shalom, God gave everybody his exact place. God gave every little yidele, every human being the exact place of holiness, of sweetness. And you know who's giving out the place? Aaron HaKohen, the high priest in the headquarters in the Holy of Holiest. They give out the place to everybody. Why is he giving out the place? Because he is really the vessel, the utmost vessel, knowing it's only a gift from God. I want you to know something very deep between people. This is really what I like to wish Moshe and Pesher in a very deep way. When sometimes you see a husband and wife walking down Broadway, they really love each other. But they don't know it's a gift from heaven. They don't turn you on to love your wife also. It's their private geschäft, It's good or bad, I don't know. But when you walk around and it's just a gift, without you knowing, you're giving out that gift to everybody else who sees you. See, when I serve God on the level knowing it's just a gift, when someone sees me, I make him into a vessel also to receive this holy gift. I want you to know two things. Last week we were learning my place in the world, physical place in the world. The spies came back and they said, we can't make a war with the people because they're too strong. A war? You conquer Israel with a war? It's a gift from heaven. You see, they thought it's a war, or you deserve it, you don't deserve it. It's a gift. God can give you a gift. This Shabbos we are learning about my spiritual place. Korach says, I deserve to be the high priest. Or Aaron does not deserve to be the high priest. Who talks about deserving? It's a gift. And I want you to know the end of the portion is that Aaron has to receive gifts all the time. You know why? Because people who know that life is a gift, everything is a gift. You know how you feel when you see them? You want to give them a gift also. I want you to know the deeper steps. When you see little babies, what you want to buy them, you're itching to give them something. Because little babies still know that life is a gift. And it's so strong. The vibrations are so strong that you see them. You want to give them a gift also. Sad enough, when we get older, we think, I'm alive. In fact, I created myself. I don't want to hurt my parents' feelings. They think they brought me down to this world. It's not true. I came alone. I want to argue with them. They're too old-fashioned. Nobody wants to give me anything. Even God doesn't want to give me anything. The Gemara says Korach did not believe in Shabbos. You know why? Because he believed everything you have is deserved. So how can you experience Shabbos, which is a gift? It's a gift. One more sweet thing. Korach said, a house which is filled with books does not need a mezuzah. And he's right. I have the whole Bible. Do I need in my door just one portion? But the answer is very simple. Sometimes I know every word in the Bible. Then I open one page, and this page is so deep to me. So deep. You know what the mezuzah is? The mezuzah is, I can serve God with everything in the world, but there has to be one sweet thing in which I'm special with. Something very deep also, I want to bless this with Moshe and Pesha. Take a couple who love each other and they do everything right. They're not close. There has to be one thing very special between them. Like a little mezuzah. Take out one portion from the Bible, hang it at the door. A very special way. People who don't have anything special, they don't know where God is. You see, every person has a little mezuzah, something very special. Every house has something special. Every house has something special. Which no other house has. This is a mezuzah, this is special. To God, it's a specialness. According to Korach, everybody has to be the holiest, and he said, everybody's the holiest, everybody is the same. Everybody's the same. You don't even know what life is all about. You don't know what Yiddishkeit is all about, what God is all about. Friends, I just want to tell you, I miss you very much. I'll be in the Holy Land. I hope we'll see each other soon, but in the meantime, I want to bless you. To serve God with a little mezuzah. To serve God on the level of Shabbos, to know everything is a gift. I bless you when you see somebody else who's higher than you. Be so happy. Be so special. And I bless you to be a vessel that you should radiate for others also, to receive gifts and to give gifts.